Hi, greetings everyone. So we haven't talked about scientific writing diaries in a long time, but today we're going to catch up, recapping the literature review on how to conduct a literature review, because really that is the very first step, right, in scientific writing and in research. You need to have very good scientific literature review skills, so that's going to assist you to be faster in your write-up, in searching this literature and putting it down for it to make sense. So you need to have like a good scientific literature review skills. So we're just gonna talk about the tips on how to conduct one. So first of all, we need to just remind each other that a literature review is really to compare and contrast what has been found in your topic of interest previously. So we're going to check what other people have found in what you want to research about. And then you're going to compare and contrast what they found, and then you're going to draw those findings towards what you want to do. So that's basically what a literature review is. So you cannot say you're conducting a literature review if you are just searching for articles that are only in agreement with what you want, or they are all contradicting what you want. You are trying to kind of like make a point through biased selection of articles. So the skill of research entails critical thinking, and also to critically analyze and conduct a good compare and contrast of previous literature after really analyzing and evaluating and assessing the evidence that is being produced, right? So that's what literature review is. So if you're conducting a very good literature review, it's going to inform your research gap. It's also going to inform the direction of the research that you're conducting. So it gives you clues to say, this has been found already, this is not found. Because you don't want to embarrass yourself and you go on to write and research and collect data and analyze with the direction that actually replicate what has been done. It's just that you do not know about it. You were so sure and convinced that whatever that you're doing has never been done before. But because you conducted a poor literature search, you actually overlooked or missed an article that talks to exactly what you want to do. And if it's even recent, then there's no point. So it's very good to have a good literature review skill and be aware of what entails this exercise. So it's not just about summarizing what is being said by a previous author and putting it out there on your write-up. Really, you need to analyze, you need to contextualize it, you need to critique it. Only then you can summarize what is being said, and you apply your mind and your reasoning to support whatever that you're writing down, that you've taken from another person. Do you see? So it's not just taking what is said, put it there, and get away with it the way social media does. You know, everyone is a researcher now, everyone is writing. It doesn't work like that in a real world. We are health sciences postgraduate students and health sciences researchers. So one thing, we know what we do, and we are critical in what we're doing, and we are fair. We are not biased in how we report. We are not biased in how we search for this literature. As we've said, we need to compare and contrast. So we need to get both sides of the coin before we put anything down. So where do we begin? We start by really defining your research question very well. You need to have a clear research question. After that, you need to have your aim. What are you aiming to do now with this research question, and what's going to be your objective, a recipe on how you're going to achieve that particular aim. Therefore, what's going to be your exposure and your outcome? What's going to be your confounding variables? What's going to be other predictor variables? You need to be clear about those things first, and therefore you can draw your keywords of this research before you start thinking about literature review or like start searching for literature. You need to be clear on these first. Once you've drafted these, that particular research question is what you're going to use now to search literature. It's going to give you clues. And if you have exhausted articles that you're finding when you're searching using that research question, you can use with the keywords that you have established. You can use with your aim and objectives that you actually want. So you can see these are very important. You have to determine them as early as possible, so that when you conduct your literature search, you're actually using relevant data and variables to search relevant papers, not to waste time, because most people are wasting so much time with literature review. They'll tell you that they will be reading literature review for 6 months. I'm like, you know, because you're wasting so much time. You're reading each and every article, even the articles that are not useful to what you want to achieve. So first thing first, be clear about your research question. It starts there. Not a topic. Topic is the last thing. A research doesn't start with a topic. A research starts with a research question, aims and objectives. Those help you to draft a topic. Ne? So no one must go on to obsess about research topic, research. No, you start with a research question. So once you have all of that in line, you can now start conducting a comprehensive literature search through your online search engines and your academic databases, right? And as you are doing that, you're gonna get a number of articles, and then you need to pick and choose which one you're taking for your literature review and which one you are dropping. So when you get a good paper that you're deciding that this is relevant and it's good and you are taking in as your literature, you're going to write about it. You can check on their references. That is a snowballing process, right? You check on their references as well, because they will be having relevant papers that can also extract some important data from. So that's how you're going to conduct your literature search. So these papers, you need to really critically evaluate them. You need to evaluate them for relevance, for credibility, and for quality. You cannot just take any paper because it talks to what you want. We don't just take any research. Anything that is called research doesn't mean it's research. Anything that's called research doesn't mean it's good research. So we should be known of good quality, of knowing what we're doing, of being critical, of being thorough, and of being credible ourselves. So that entails picking very good papers or credible researches. You check on the author's expertise, their experience, you just check on their expertise and their relevance in what they're talking about. If I'm found as Nwabile Ganje, I'm an epidemiologist, right? And then I'm found discussing finance, hey guys, you can't take my paper. You must take it with a pinch of salt and try to get other people that are relevant, people that are the subject experts in that particular topic of interest. So that's what we're going to be checking as well. Because now, even with COVID, we saw that everyone was a COVIDist, everyone was a 666, everyone is a specialist now. So you're making sure that the paper is credible, the author themselves, they are credible and they are capacitated to research on the topic of interest that they're researching about. You check their methodology. This tells if a research is good or not. Most of the researchers will be saying this causes X causes Y, and then those things you can see that they are not even plausible. They are not biologically even making sense. And then you're going to go and check how the research was conducted. And then you see so much biases. You see so much incorrect things that have been done to reach that particular conclusion. So methodology is very good, and it's a good sign to check if you should trust this research or not, if you should go on with this research or not. If you're citing bad papers, bad quality papers, it reflects you as a person who's conducting that research and citing these things. It means you yourself, you don't know what you're doing. You yourself, you are of poor quality, you don't know, you're not credible. So it's important to make sure that you're only taking good quality papers after you have evaluated them thoroughly. So as you critique them, you're checking methodology, you're checking the study setting. Where was this study conducted? How was the sampling done and the population? That matters because you're going to align it and match it and reason with what you want to do. So you want to check on those things. The time period, you can't be citing papers that were done 10 years and 50 years ago. You can't do that. You need the most recent papers, approximately at least 5 years from the time of writing. You need to check the inconsistencies in the paper itself and in the known literature. Some papers will come and contradict what has been known. So you need to thoroughly check on how did they come to such a conclusion? And methodology will tell you all of this. You need to check their limitations because, again, you can't be found citing things that are incorrect and that are biased, and that will get you in trouble in terms of credibility as a researcher. So you need to check the research gaps that they have in that article itself. It's also going to inform you on what you can do better, and maybe the direction of your particular research. So after all of this, you have all these papers, you need to organize them thematically. You organize them same as you write up. You don't just write things that are all scattered all over the place. Burden of disease alone in one paragraph. It ends there. You move on to epidemiology. I'm making examples. You move on to gaps. You move on to rational. Same as your paper. You're gonna categorize them just as like those things.